Now we have here using the pseudo classes and pseudo elements. So the pseudo class classifies an element based on its current status, position, or use in the document. And the general syntax for pseudo classes is we have here the element and followed by the pseudo class. Okay, so element colon the pseudo class, where this element is an element from the document and pseudo class. Here is the name of the CSS pseudo class. So there is a structural pseudo class which classifies an element based on its location within the structure of HTML document. Now we have here okay, the structural pseudo classes. We have here the root, which matches the top element in the document hierarchy. So this is the HTML element. For the empty pseudo class, an element with no content. Pseudo class which is only child. This is an element with no siblings. Okay, the first child. This is the first child of the parent element. Last child. This is the last child of the parent element. Okay, first of type, last of type, nth of type n. So this is the nth element of the parent of the specified type. We have also the pseudo class lang. This element um, has the specified language indicated by the code. Now, okay, let us have the sample of this one. So we will be using the code pen.io. So we have here a codepen.io to show our pseudo classes. So we have here, we have applied a pseudo class hover when we hover these links. Okay? So for example, we'll try to have, we can apply also the pseudo class to the links, right? So here, um, the dynamic pseudo class, this is a type of pseudo class in which the class can change state based on actions of the user. Okay, for example, we have here the pseudo classes link, visited, active, hover, and focus. So these are the pseudo classes that can be applied to the links. So for the link, this is a pseudo class in which to be applied for the link that has not been visited yet by the user. The pseudo class visited, this is the link that has been visited by the user. For example, you're going to set the background color for the link that is already visited. Active, so this element is in the process of being activated or clicked by the user. Hover, so this is the link wherein the mouse pointer is hovering over the element. And we have here the pseudo class focus. This is the element on receiving the focus of the keyboard or the mouse pointer. Now let us try to have here using the code pen IO. We have for the code pen IO, we have here the sections where you can input the HTML content and you can define your CSS properties. And soon, if we will have the JavaScript, we have the section for the JavaScript. Okay, we have the editor for our JavaScript. Now, in here, we have, okay, two contents for our body. We have the paragraph, two paragraphs here. in which each of the paragraph has the links, syntax, and the CSS tutorial. And here in the CSS property, we have applied a hover pseudo class for our anchor tag. Um, the anchor tag elements with the class highlight. So for the CSS property of this one, a that highlight hover meaning um this is the pseudo class hover, okay, to be applied for this anchor tag with the class highlight. All right. And for example, we have, okay, we have um not to specify the highlight class, which is only this paragraph. So in take effect, these two um, links that are specified in A or anchor tag elements are applied with the properties color, okay, which is red. Now let us try to have, for example, the background color. Okay, for example, the background color is um, hmm, hot pink. Okay, so expected that when we hover these links, the background color is changed to hot pink. All right, now let us try to apply those mm, link properties. All right, okay, take note. These pseudo classes can also be used to style an element when a user mouses over it. He visited and unvisited links differently, and also style an element when it gets focus. All right, so we are trying to um, style our CSS link. Now, okay, we have already the hover in which, okay, there must be a structure for our CSS links. That hover pseudo classes must comes after the link and visited pseudo classes, right? So we have here for the, we'll just try to put comment for this one for the, sorry, unvisited link. For this is the unvisited link, we have here a anchor tag which will apply to our anchor elements, and this one for the unvisited, by default we can set the, for example, the color to um, by default it's blue. Okay, by default it's blue. Then can set the color to, okay, let us try to have the black color. Now it is turned into black since it's not yet visited. Now let's try to add a property for the visited link. Okay, for the visited link, we have the pseudo class visited, right? And let us say for the visited, let's try to have the color green. Right. Okay. Right. So it's not viewable for this one. Okay. And when we hover it, it turns into hot pink with the background color hot pink and the color is red. Okay. Then after the visited, we have the hover where um you can have the mouse hover link, where when you hover the link, you have here the properties. And then it must be the structure also that active hmm, active pseudo class must comes after the hover. So we have here a active, meaning this link is active in this view. So for active, for example, we will be changing the color into blue. Okay. All right. Okay. So we have here, right. So basically, mm, this is mm, the order of which these CSS links to be placed. That is, hover must come after a link and a visited. And also active pseudo class must come after the a hover. So this in order for this CSS definition to be effective, so we have to place the structure of these links in this way. All right. So now let us try to have the the application for example, hovering a specified content, right? So for hovering the specified content, say for example, let me have removed this one and let us try to modify our code. And for example, mm, okay, for example, we have a division content here. All right. So a division content and it must be ended here. Okay. And we have basically the two paragraphs. Okay. So for two paragraphs, let's try to remove this link. Okay, all right. So we have here content one, and this is content two. Sorry. So we have here content one and content two inside our division element. Okay, try to remove this anchor tag, a closing anchor tag elements. Okay, so we have content one and content two inside our paragraph elements. Now, okay, so now for example, we have to apply a an attribute class attribute that is equal to content 2. So we have to um, specify this one. Okay, um, like hover me, right? So we have hover me. When you hover this one, it will change to something in the paragraph 2, which has a content of content 2. Now for that one, let us have, for example, we'll have to apply a property for the content to paragraph. Okay, content to with a style like display, which is none. We have the background color, which is blue. The safer have like padding. This we have here the 20px, and then okay, we can style our entire div, which is with the hover pseudo class, and display, which is hey. So at this time, um, paragraph 2 for the second paragraph with the attribute class content 2 is being hide or being hidden. So it's not shown on our display. So when we hover this one, this should be the time that paragraph 2 will be displayed. All right. Okay. Uh-huh. So let me try to remove this one. Okay. So it will not be placed in a paragraph element. Now, let's try to save. Okay. Mhm. Okay. So we have forgotten the paragraph element. When we hover this division, it will be applied to the um, child paragraph. Okay. So we have here. Yeah. Okay. So it shows that when we have hovered this um, content one, it will take some effect to the paragraph or the second paragraph with an attribute class and a value content too. Okay, because we have specified it here, right? So we can also set the text align, which is center. Okay, so we have here. All right. So now let us try the other pseudo classes. So for example, we have two divisions here. Okay, so now let us try to apply the first child pseudo class, wherein we have here two paragraph elements here inside our body. And then let's try to apply a property that is specifically to the first child element of the paragraph. So for that, only the first paragraph, which is the content one, will be applied with the CSS. So for that, we have the element colon, the name of the pseudo class is first child, and applied with the color red, for example. So as you can see, content one is only applied with a red color since we have specified the first child pseudo class, which is this property will take effect to the first child of the paragraph element, so which is this content one. Again, we have applied the pseudo class to our first child of the paragraph element. That is, this property is applied to this content one only. Okay, so since we have specified the first child, now let us try to apply the lang pseudo class. So this lang pseudo class allows you to define special rules for different languages. So we have here two paragraph elements with the content one, dot, right here, please. And the paragraph two contains the content two. Okay. So previously we have applied the red color to the first child of the paragraph element. Now let us try to have the lang. So for the quotation mark, we have to apply that this content one will be placed, no, this right here please na lang, to be placed in a quotation mark. Say we have to make use of the Q element with the attribute lang, which is equals to, for example, right. Okay, and it must be ended here. Okay, and with the Q element. And by default, right here please is enclosed in a double quote, okay, which are these one, okay, but you can specify a special character with in the CSS. So here we have to specify the element Q with the pseudo class lang and the value of the lang attribute is right, and we can specify the codes with um, this character and end with this character. Okay, so as you can see, right here place is enclosed in this special character. All right, so this is the application for the lang.